This is one of my most favorite days of the year. It is National Margarita Day. And who else should we bring in but Erin Washington, the queen of margaritas, the supporter of our show. She's already drinking this early in the morning.
Sorry.
I'm into it. I like it. And Erin, Jose Cuervo was busy today, so we figured we'd go with you.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. If you can't drink in the morning on National Margarita Day, when can you?
Very good point.
I'm a little bit disturbed that you only have me on National Margarita Day once a year to come on and talk about margaritas. I feel like I'm versatile. I can offer more than a once a year visit on National Margarita Day, but it has become a tradition that I spend this day with you guys.
And one would say that National Margarita Day should be like Christmas. It should be in your heart all year long.
It's my Super Bowl.
So I actually want to, first of all, point out that it was like a year ago that we were like friends as humans, like in the same room, which was great. Your book had first come out, Squats and Margaritas, and you shared a lot of your personal journey for fitness, and you shared some great margarita recipes that are now legendary in Kelly's mom's retirement community in Florida. What has happened in the margarita world in the last year since we've neglected you and not talked to you for a year?
Well, Squats and Margaritas is now a podcast, so that's very exciting. Squats and Margaritas, wherever you get your podcasts. I started doing Instagram lives during the pandemic, basically just other moms, like, how are you handling this? Like, what are you doing with your kids? Like, share all the tips. And it was just like a Thursday night moms commiserating, and ended up that WTOP was listening and they offered to produce a podcast for me. And ever since, I've been uploading an episode every week. I've just had these amazing guests that I see on TV and I can't believe are on my podcast.
Are they all drinking margaritas while they're talking, though?
Some are. So Tanteo, I brought that into the studio last time. Tanteo sends them a bottle. Like, I don't know what's happening now. Now Tanteo sponsors my podcast. You just have to put it out there. It's what I drink. And it's what I'm drinking right now. We drank in the morning last year. Don't pretend. Don't be holier than thou. We all drank in the morning.
Clutching our pearls today. That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. We have drank in the morning with you. That is for sure.
Yeah, and I can see why we are such good friends with you, because drinking in the morning is acceptable. And of course, it's Margarita Day. So I did post this morning. I did get up early and make a little margarita. It's a takeoff of the margarita recipe that you kind of showed me. So I want to share it with you. It's on my Instagram story.
Yes.
Happy Margarita Day. I'm going to share with you how I like my margarita. I kind of took a hybrid of my friend Erin Washington's skinny margarita of how I like to drink and celebrate. A couple days ago, I made my own spicy jalapeno tequila, which was really just buying a jalapeno. I think it was like 50 cents at the grocery store, cutting it in half, throwing it in this container, and throwing tequila in it. And I let it sit for a couple days. Make sure when you cut that jalapeno, I suggest rubber gloves so you don't get jalapeno juice in your eye if you accidentally rub it. Also, when you go to pour it, you might want to use a little strainer to take the seeds out. Of course, I have a glass of ice, so I like it on the rocks like that. And I use just a squirt of lime juice. I buy this like real lime juice from the grocery store instead of slicing limes. It stays fresh in the fridge for a long time. You don't have to worry about having fresh limes. And then sparkling water. This is a game changer. It's so refreshing. I like to use a little flavor. The one I had on hand was raspberry cranberry. Is also delicious. And if you do, this is not necessarily skinny, but if mama needs a little bit more alcohol in her margarita, you can throw in an orange liqueur or a Cointreau. That's sort of like the traditional margarita. Shake it up and cheers. Happy Margarita Day, and cheers to my friends Tommy and Erin Washington. Last year we had so much fun drinking margaritas at 9 a.m. in the morning celebrating this holiday before we had to kind of change our lives forever. So hope you guys have a great, safe day.
That's amazing.
So I couldn't find Tanteo. I looked for it. I know it's hard to find where I live. I know that's already spicy tequila.
Well, you can go to tanteotequila.com and use Squats 10 to get 10% off.
You are a podcaster.
You helped me with that, Tommy. It should be at any ABC store, but I like that you just kind of infused it yourself. And do you know that there's also a thing? I know you didn't want to get jalapenos in your eye. Have you heard of jalapeno hands?
No.
It's actually a thing. Once you slice a jalapeno, you have to wash your hands immediately, or your hands like just feel like they're on fire. I thought it was a joke. It's a thing. So you can get it in your eye. You can also get jalapeno hands. So fun.
Talking to Erin Washington, the host of the Squats and Margarita podcast, the Squats and Margarita book. Erin, I think you should know that finally Kelly has become more popular in her parents' retirement community than you have, only because she got like a dozen seniors vaccinated. But other than that, you were the top dog in Naples.
No, I will relinquish my crown to Kelly for that. That's amazing, Kelly. I still want Connie Collis. It's not over.
I know she wants her as a guest on the podcast. I'm working on it.
I do, Tommy. Like, think about this. How old is? I don't want to assume.
She's in her 70s.
She's over 40.
A woman in her 70s giving a woman soon this year turns 40 life advice. Like, what do you say to your 40-year-old self? I want to talk to Connie and just get like all the life advice. We're trying to make it happen. It's not over. I will have Connie Collis on the podcast. Well, her girlfriends too. Didn't they want, like, some other people wanted to join?
Yep.
Come in, give us all the life advice.
I don't think WTOP knows what they've gotten themselves into.
Bring it.
But I would listen to that one and give it 5 stars for sure.
Well, just talking to your former self, what would you tell your 30-year-old self, your 40-year-old self? Like, life advice from someone who's been there and a fan of my margarita. Bonus.
Kelly, you gotta like Kris Jenner this thing. Get your mom out there. Let's go.
I'm working on it. I'm her agent. But this is why we love you so much, because not just the margaritas, but you always have tips on your Instagram and on your podcast, and of course from your book about staying in shape, how to exercise when you're a busy mom, and also these not just skinny margaritas, but you have these skinny cocktails, which is what my mom loves, where you use a sugar-free Jello as the flavor for maybe a rum drink or a vodka drink, whatever your liquor is, which is just, who would have ever thought of that, right?
My sister, who drinks daily, thought of that. And that is like my summer go-to. That's like by the pool, sugar-free Jello, the prepared cup, ice, and whatever. I use tequila, obviously. You can use rum, vodka. And then there's like little things that we talked about at the restaurants. Like, you go to a Mexican restaurant and you want a frozen margarita, but the calories, you just get a tequila and soda, splash of the frozen machine, stir it up. It tastes like what a frozen margarita tastes like kind of once you've been drinking it for a while. It's a little bit watered down. You're saving all of those sugars and calories that would have been in the frozen machine, but you don't feel deprived. And it's interesting that you're talking about the book. I'm actually working on a second edition.
Very cool.
Because I've learned a lot since I put that out, and actually had for anybody that doesn't know, I talk a lot about my eating disorder past. I struggled for 10 years with bulimia and anorexia. And I truly believe that because I don't do that anymore, I wanted to write this book. Like, now I live with balance and everything's fine. So I had the CEO of Project Heal, an eating disorder foundation, come on. And I was like, let's just like talk about all the stigmas. And it was kind of like this. And I could see her every time I would say certain things. Like, it was funny. I stopped restricting and now I just eat whenever I want. And I lift heavy and I lost 20 pounds. And every time I would say something like that, she was like, "Arr." She kept like cringing. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, I don't want to diagnose you, but your language can be kind of triggering and fat phobic. And I was just like, that last thing I want to do. And she said, you may not practice those behaviors anymore, but apparently I have a long way to go to being healed. So Squats and Margaritas, A Journey to Finding Balance, came out last year. And now I'm working on Squats and Margaritas, The Journey Continues, adding in everything that I've learned since the book came out. And I know that it has helped people that have struggled with eating disorders, but I need to own that mentally I'm not all the way back yet. If I'm still living my life with balance to maintain my physical ideal, then I have a lot of work to do. And I'm owning that. Yeah. But
that is some Empire Strikes Back situation. My goodness.
Probably like, don't you feel like most women, Tommy, you work out more than me. Like, your varies. Don't you eat the way you do and work out the way you do to maintain your physical appearance? Like, I didn't think that was a bad thing. Like,
right. Listen, lady, I don't have a book. Don't diagnose me. All right?
So that's why I need to kind of check myself, because I do those things, which I feel like most people do to maintain my figure, but I shouldn't care about that anymore. And she hit me with this. She said, had you started living with balance, lifting heavy, eating all the time, didn't lose 20 pounds, would you have written the book? And I was like, well, no. Like, why would I write the book? She was like, that's where you need to address. And I was just like,
wow.
Yeah. So I need to own that and not rewriting it. It's going to be the beginning. It's going to be my tips on how to live with balance and how I finally lost weight living with balance, but how the fact that that was my end goal, I should be happy at any weight and I should accept myself. She said, basically, I'm only happy right now because I had the weight loss. I was like, well, I'm going to own that. And I don't want to trigger anybody by, saying the wrong word. So I've been educated. I'm going to be a Project Heal mentor. And I want to make this a bigger thing. So I am going to kind of rework Squats and Margaritas. So coming soon.
My goodness.
Wow. You've been busy during the pandemic.
Bit. Kids are here. Lots of school days.
Oh, and you have little kids too.
No, 2 and 5. 2 and 5.
She sips. This settles it. We've got to have you on before a year goes by again. So we'll make that happen. Erin Washington.
Versatile. I have more to offer than National Margarita Day.
Squats and Margaritas, the podcast, the book, the second edition coming out soon. Happy National Margarita Day. And we will talk to you again before a year is up, I promise.